Hello there, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going to r/BoomersBeingFools, where boomers cannot cope with the world changing around them, so they lash out at those younger than them to accommodate for their lack of control over the world around them. If you enjoy, remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below saying what subreddit you want me to read from next. Now let's get started, shall we? Silly boomers at the airport. Here's a little boomer story. At the airport, about to enter security screening. At the airport, you queue up. An attendant verifies you have a boarding pass. You go to one of about 16 entrances, scan your boarding pass, and then disappear around the corner to the scanner lines. Heathrow for reference. I'm in the queue line, which is totally empty. I'm just gonna zigzag to get to the attendant, scan my pass, and into security I'll go. Queue boomer couple who decide that walking to the queue entrance will take too long as they crouch over to limbo under the queue rope. Papa Boomer looks like the old man from Up, so they cut in turn of line. Bleh. They cut in line at the queue, ahead of me, and make their plodding way around to the end. Meanwhile, a few traveling parties, couples, and one family have gotten in the line following me. We get to the attendant, and she asks to see boarding passes.
Huh? What? Boarding passes? What's a boarding pass? Oh, this paper thing they gave us?
Mama Boomer is digging in her purse. Meanwhile, she and Papa Boomer are blocking the queue, so even though I've got my phone out and the attendant sees I'm good to go, I can't get past them to use one of the 16 empty gates. Finally, Mama Boomer digs out the passes. She and Papa Boomer inch forward to the gate right in front of them, standing opening in front of the others, such as no one can get around their luggage to get to any other entry spot. I make eye contact with the attendant and give her the, "Hey, can you please do something" look. She makes Papa Boomer move up to the next gate with his own pass. I scoot around them, scan my pass, and disappear around the corner to the scanners. While I'm waiting, all the people who had lined up behind me enter the security area, plus some that must have come after. Finally, the boomers make it through and enter the security line, but looking pretty grouchy. I don't know how they could have had so much trouble scanning a boarding pass, but boomers are always full of surprises. I was flying this week and they're using a new camera verification system at the airport. This boomer ahead of me was freaking out that he didn't want the government to have his picture on file, and he wanted them to use his passport instead. I'd say they're lacking a few brain cells. My boomer boss thought Google Docs was a form of hacking. My boss asked me to draft a report and share it with him electronically. I sent him a Google Docs link. 10 minutes later, he barges into my cubicle like I triggered the alarm. "Why isn't it changing on its own?" he asks. I'm confused until he realizes he's watching me edit the doc in real time and thinks it's some kind of hack. "It says your name in the corner. Are you in my computer right now?" I tried explaining how cloud collaboration works, and he just stared at me like I was casting spells. "Back in my day, we just printed drafts and used red pens," he said, genuinely worried. He now prints out every Google Doc I said, hand edits it, scans it, then emails me the PDF. We've basically invented a digital to paper to digital workflow. I'm tired. Boomer goes from infuriated to terrified in half a second. I just got home from Target. While I was there, a boomer man was having a loud phone conversation, not on speakerphone, just a loud voice I could hear from 3 aisles away. He was talking about QAnon nonsense. The deep state's gonna murder people. He has it on good authority. High profile people are in the crosshairs. Just a conspiracy. Greatest hits ramble. He kept this up from the back of the store to the front. I walked past him to the checkout and said, "You might want to lower your voice talking in public." The boomer is instantly enraged. "How dare you? You can't tell me what to do." I cut off his tirade with, "Dude, your OPSEC sucks." His mouth snapped shut as he turned white as a sheet, and I continued on to buy my candy and go about my day. Seriously, though, is this something he truly believes in? Why the frick was he having this loud conversation in the middle of a damn Target? Meal Team 6, member forgot his training. I got promoted. My boomer parents show how out of touch they are. I am 33 and a network engineer. I recently got promoted to team lead. I told my boomer, now retired parents, and their response was,
Congratulations, but gee, companies promote quick now, don't they? Not like having actual experience under your belt.
and I say, well, I started in 2015. I started, then graduated, which was a 2-year grad program.
Yeah, but you were in a junior position and your job role would have just been getting coffee and filing, not doing any actual work or getting experience. You've really only had 7 years of actual experience, not enough for a promotion.
They seriously think people in intern and graduate roles just get coffee and file papers. Even a decade ago, this was not a thing. Well, congrats on your promotion. Boomers struggle to understand that in the tech industry, if one isn't changing jobs or rising through the ranks every few years, they might as well consider their career over. Times change too quickly to stay still. You would think someone relying on tips wouldn't insult their riders. I, a short 29 female, had to drop my car off at the shop the other day. I ordered a lift to take me home, and old retiree Grandpa Steve picked me up. And here's how the conversation goes. Am I taking you to work? No, I'm actually working from home today. So what do you do? I negotiate contracts. But you don't actually negotiate, right? No, I negotiate with customers directly. Or do you just report to someone who negotiates? Y'all, at this point, I'm rolling my eyes, but I'm ready to let it go because Grandpa Steve's opinion is irrelevant to me. No, I negotiate. For how long? 5 years. The conversation moves along at this point, and he laughs how Doge is going to get people, and I just tuned him out. 5 minutes later. So are you gonna run the marathon this weekend? Oh no. I'd rather break my ankle. The only thing I run is my mouth. Y'all, I'm not even exaggerating. Steve then goes dead serious and snippy and says, You do well to learn when to shut your mouth and stop talking. Y'all, it was a joke, but they just can't not be the experts on dishing advice. By this time, we get to my house, and as I opened the door and I said, Steve, you do well to take your own advice regarding knowing when to shut your mouth and stop talking. And then I got out and shut the door. He actually sat in my driveway for 2 minutes just staring at me before he finally left. I still tipped him $5 for a 10-minute drive because I personally think a shit review plus a $0 tip is easier to write off as they were looking for a reason. But tipping him $5 and leaving a 2-star review saying, Steve's criticism of me during the ride was unnecessary, and he'd do well to learn what is appropriate for the future feels more disappointed dad vibe than a Karen. But who talks to someone you're hoping is going to tip? American tipping culture is insane. Your driver told you to learn when to shut your mouth, and you still tipped him? And you think a low tip is going to teach him something while no tip can be written off? Why is it even your job to teach an old misogynist anything and pay for the privilege? I don't know. Anyway, on to the next story. The doctor says, Bye! I'm at the heart surgeon with a boomer father in law, the head of the department in a major city in a nationally known hospital. Just told father in law he is no longer welcome in the practice and they are referring him to another. His antics, language, and racism/xenophobia has broken the camel's back. He offended his cardiac care physician with his comments about her heritage, and now the best cardiovascular surgeon in 400 miles just told him politely to go flock himself. I've been telling my wife for 10 years I'm tired of his shite. Now he found out the hard way. Guarantee he'll come out of the hospital blaming the doctors instead of looking in the mirror. It's not 1960s anymore. Update. On the way home, he and his boomer wife didn't say a dang word about it. I was for sure they would cuss and insult and scream on the way home. 2 hours in the car, there was not a single word about it. I think they finally are embarrassed about being called out by a professional. They are normally very opinionated. Wife said when the doctor told them they thought he was joking, he said, "I'm the head of this medical group and I don't joke about things like this." Mother-in-law was crying and slinging snot. She was so distraught and embarrassed. And father-in-law started being grouchy to mother-in-law and wife. I was in the waiting area on my phone and just generally being an ass. But the 2 hour drive home, not a word from either. It was so out of character they had to still be in shock from getting called out and cancelled. Update 2. Just FYI, he thinks this is BS. Is just being an endearing, funny old man, cute and lovable. His inner view is 180 degrees from his external manifestation. He thinks he's Mr. Personality, but he is just an ass. He doesn't do anything for the purpose of being hostile. He thinks all his shenanigans and comments are just harmless fun. Yes, he is one of those guys. He doesn't purposely treat people with disrespect, but there is no difference between on purpose or accidental when the result is the same. Just because you aren't trying to be an ass doesn't mean you aren't an ass. There's a special place in hell for people who mistreat healthcare workers. I will never understand why some people think it's okay to be so nasty to those just trying to help. Boomer admitted he made a mistake with his vote. On Saturday, I had pulled into a gas station to top off before a road trip. I'm just standing there pumping my gas when the boomer on the other side of the pump says something to me. I didn't quite catch what he said. "I'm sorry, what did you say?" "I'm loving this $2 gas." Me confused and checks the price for $3.69 a gallon and realize he's being sarcastic. "Oh, yeah, me too. Everything's more expensive, everything. And I voted for this." "Oh, well, I didn't." "I voted for him. I believed him. I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm just so tired of all the shenanigans. But this isn't what I voted for. This was probably the biggest mistake of my life." I finished pumping gas. I'm sure we'll survive. I hope so. I still can't believe I had a total stranger admit to me that he voted for this and that it was the biggest mistake of my life. God, I hope we survive. I'm not too sure personally. Anyway, I'm ending the video here. I hope you all enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below of which subreddit you want me to cover yet. Do you want me to cover entitled parents, malicious compliance, or something like that? Well, do it now. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.